Cam Weiland. One of the trickiest parts of any story is the beginning. And one of the trickiest parts of the beginning is figuring out how to balance the need to keep the story moving forward with the need to keep the reader filled in on lots of important background details. This is a balance that's a little different in every story. Leisurely literary novels can sometimes get away with pages of exposition in their first chapters, but most fast-moving genre books aren't so forgiving. And yet sometimes it's vital that readers be filled in on information so they'll understand who's who and what's going on. Generally, I recommend erring on the side of too much description in the first draft. At this early stage, when you're still figuring out the story yourself, it's often much better to just get all the explanations out of your system, if only to explain it to yourself. So, write yourself a killer first line, then give yourself permission to write lengthy physical descriptions of the characters, to describe your character's backstory from his entry into the world to date, to describe your settings at leisure, or to explain how your protagonist has gotten himself into his current predicament. Once you've got all of the information out of your system, it's often much easier to figure out what's necessary and what's not. Plus, now that you can see the information, it's much easier to move it around on the page, to intersperse it with dialogue and action, and just generally play with it until it fits. Keep your delete folder handy so you can save whatever you cut in your first pass. Much of the information that you cut from the first chapter will find a better place later on in the book, after you've hooked the reader with the conflict and foreshadowing in your first chapter. Never be afraid to include information that you know is vital. But you're also likely to be surprised by how much info you can safely cut without miring the reader in instant confusion.